Tech Real,
Yeah.
can you say bubbles angrily?
Can I say bubbles angrily?
Mm-hmm.
Bubbles! Is that good?
Interesting.
Like,
Because
just goddamn fucking bubbles. It's kind of angry.
It's pretty good.
Why?
Because I only say some people believe that you can't say bubbles angrily, and I disagree with that.
Why? Is this what the world is really focusing their efforts on? If we can say the word bubbles angrily, there's not more important things in the world to focus on at this point in life?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather focus on that than like everything that's on the news, but like also still.
Well, we're not the news.
Thank
because
God.
we're Side-ology.
I'd rather be that than any, and I'm Tech Real.
And Amy, I was waiting for it.
Yeah, you knew.
That was good.
You can see when I've caught myself in a trap of my own mouth.
You all need to know that we are very chaotic tonight.
Oh yeah, we were.
What time is it?
You'll never know. Except for the fact that you corrected yourself after. So no.
It's not nighttime.
We're quite chaotic. One, because we know this episode already is gonna be a pretty chill episode, pretty laid back episode, simple topic. Also, sometimes we're just more chaotic than others. You guys know how this podcast? Is it a podcast? Podcast goes. There we go.
I don't know.
Owls. Anyways.
Oh.
I've really gotten into it. I don't know if did I do that on the podcast last time too? Where I said something like, I got trapped saying the word who a bunch, and then I was like, I'm an owl. Because I think it might have been this podcast I did this in.
Maybe. I know you do that in conversation.
It's something I'm picking up more, because I did it once, and it made me laugh. And then now I must do it all the time, because it's now the only association in that, into my mind. Is I'll start saying hoo-hoo, and I'll be like, owls? Anyways, hello everybody! Welcome to Side-ology.
I'm back. Welcome back.
What was that?
I don't know. Sorry.
Welcome back! It's Side-ology. Bubbles!
We're going to be talking about some sanitides today.
Oh my god! I'm not hydrated enough for this, nor will I ever be. But anyways.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. We are in our like second to last legitimate episode before episodes start slowing down. And by slowing down, I mean grinding to a horrible halt until eventual subjects in the near future.
Sorry, I was saying no, sadly.
It's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. The next episode really is our last big topic before a Q&A, before we have no idea when the next episode will be. Eventually episodes will still come, but we have no idea when they're going to be anymore because we need to wait for more content.
Yeah, we just don't have anything else to talk about.
Yeah.
We can only talk about so much with this series. And if you're like, bruh, if you're sitting there in your seats right now going, bruh, Amy or Tech, this is like, think of this topic. There's a topic right here. What the fuck? Write it down and ask us in
the comments. Sorry, I forgot. I didn't realize there was going to be participation, and my brain was just. I was stuck in orange juice land. I'm drinking orange juice, so I was just sort of like. I just looked off into the distance. I was like, man, that was tasty. And I wasn't really thinking about it.
I was trying to get you to read my mind to talk about the upcoming event we have.
Oh! I wasn't even processing that. Listen, you can't assume I'm going to process things. I don't process things when I'm supposed to. You've seen me over the course of tonight before the podcast. Anyway.
I mean...
yeah, no. So, wait, cue me up again. I can do this. I don't
even know. It was so...
It was about if you have any other subjects that you want us to talk about.
Oh, and if you're going, Amy, Tech Real, there's this topic. There's this topic. You've got more topics to talk about. You could talk about this. Why don't you ask that to us in...
Not only just what is going to be our last fan Q&A for a while, but what will also now be a Side-ology live stream fan Q&A.
What?
Yes.
Sorry, Rhett and Link Tokyo.
I knew that's where your brain was with it too. I was gonna say that's very Tokyo, but
I'm a Rhett and Link. I'm proud of it.
Yeah, honestly. But yeah, no, we're doing, based on what we said last time and based on the enthusiasm expressed in the comments of our last episode, we are doing a big old Side-ology live stream for our last fan Q&A for a while. So, that will be happening when, Amy?
February 10th.
Oh my god, at 12 EST.
EST.
Indeed.
So you people who are in the Central Time Zone or the Mountain Time Zone or the Pacific Time Zone, bro, you gotta do the math a little bit.
Or like Google it.
I have to do the math a little bit because I'm not in the Eastern Time Zone.
I never do the math. I just look up what is this time in this time zone.
Yeah, because you're lucky because you get the Eastern Time Zone. People talk about that one more than they talk about the Central.
If you just Google it, you'll find the information you need.
I know,
but if I look up what is noon in like GMT time, I'll find it. Anyways, no, so we're gonna be doing a Q&A live stream. I'm really excited for that. It's gonna be a good vibe. So we have no idea how long the live stream will be. But it's gonna be over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Side-ology, and also, join us then.
If you just want to hang out, you don't have to have questions.
Yeah.
You can just hang out and talk about life.
Oh, totally.
Talk about Sandra sides or anything else.
Yeah,
I'm not Southern American. But yeah, we can talk about that and have a good time.
Yeah, any last questions you have? I say last. Last is very far from the truth. Again, this podcast isn't ending, so we'll probably still answer stuff about us over time. But,
and we'll be around.
Huh?
You'll find us. We'll be around.
Oh, honestly. I mean, honestly, I don't want to claim this, because, I mean, from this point on, I think the fan Q&As are going to be coming to a stop after this live stream, but I mean, who's to say maybe we can't do another fan Q&A live stream in the future?
Who's to say?
Who's to say? It's not going to be a regular thing, but if we ever decide, if this one went well and we decide to do another one, who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
Is that a song?
Yeah, I just referenced 2 musicals in a row.
Oh, I missed both of them.
It's okay. The Who's to Say. Who's to Say is the Addams Family.
Ah.
And then, because that's, what's his name? Fester. And then Who Knows is West Side Story.
Oh. Man, I've not seen West Side Story in a while.
I don't remember the rest.
Tonight. That's what I remember. You got so excited over that.
That's a good one.
It's a good little tune. I don't know why that's the first one I think of. Officer Krupke is the best one. I don't know if that's like a bad take, but that's my favorite song in West Side Story.
No. If you haven't seen the West Side Story, what are you doing with your life? If you haven't seen the Addams Family musical, what are you doing with your life? Mm-hmm. But West Side Story,
and if you haven't seen Side-ology, then get the hell out of here.
Tech Girl, if they can hear this, they've listened to Side-ology.
What?
That's how it works.
But
you're listening.
Oh. Anyways.
What are we talking about today, Tech?
We were both ready to move on. Today we're going to be getting into my chair, apparently. Jesus Christ. Today we're
We're getting into my chair. Let's go.
Everybody hop on. It can't possibly make any more noise than it is right now with 50 more people on it.
Right on the school bus.
You might get baked into a pie. Which is such a lie. Can I just go on a mini rant unrelated to our topic in every way? They never get baked into a pie. They get baked into a cake. They get baked into a cake. Not a pie, a cake. They just rhymed. They were like, let's change it for the rhyme. Fuck you. Guy who wrote that song. I love him. He's great. I have no qualms with him, except for that line.
They have to rhyme it.
That's great. That's great. They lied, though. I have a lot of strong theme song opinions.
That's
like
fair.
how in Sweet Life on Deck they never once credited Woody in the theme song.
That's annoying.
And yet the
hurt.
one character, whatever Doc Shaw's character, he showed up for like a couple of episodes and he made it into the theme song, but Woody in all the seasons never did. I still wonder if he requested that based on the character he played. Because I know if I was that character, I don't think I'd want to be credited either. You know what I mean?
Oh, Woody?
Yeah. If that was my thing on if that was my thing on Disney, to be categorized as the fat sloppy kid who's like stinky and stupid, if that was my characterization on Disney, I would be like, you know what? You don't have to credit me. I don't think I want my name attached to this project. I think I'll be here for you, but I think I'm good.
I'll be there for...
Now that's a good show. Anyways, the topic of today, we're going to be talking about what we think some of the Sides' rooms look like. Because we've seen two Sides' rooms now. We've seen Virgil's and Patton's. But we've not seen the others. And we're going to, minorly theorize what the rooms would be. And if, like Patton and Virgil's rooms, they have effects that affect the other sides. Because Virgil's room, as we know, gives off anxiety. And Patton's room makes people more nostalgic. So what might the other rooms' effects be, if they also have effects?
I don't know if Patton's fully makes them nostalgic.
I thought that was implied.
No, because Logan didn't. I think it makes him
Logan
peppier.
Did. Logan got nostalgic in the mix of that. He was able to come out of it easier. He was vibing with it. He did the rainforest rap.
I mean, he got excited about that. It made Thomas peppier. It made everybody happier when they went in the room.
Fair.
But Logan still, it did, the nostalgic things didn't pull them in and make them go.
I thought that's what that was.
To an extent, like, that's what nostalgic things do. Anyway.
I mean, that's fair enough. I don't know. It definitely did
just
have
made
an effect.
Happier, and then Logan was like, bruh, I need to get the fuck out because this might not be working. Virgil got like all crappy.
Fair. Should we start by talking about Patton's room since we're already on him?
Probably.
Yeah, fair. Patton's room, I like Patton's room. Patton's room is full of mementos and nostalgia, and I'm a sentimental hoarder too, so I get it. It's nice. I have a weird relationship though with nostalgia, because there's this because my uncanny valley threshold is so low, and my Peter Pan syndrome is really high. So when I look back too far, I'm I got that little shudder of ugh, time has passed, ew, and I'm just looking back and now I'm thinking of a different time of my life, and now look at who I used to be. Weird. Oh, where are those people? Where am I now? Barely anywhere. Huh. There's a lot of gross thoughts that can arise, which I think, also was exemplified in Sides. Is that sort of effect that nostalgic things can have a positive but sometimes a negative effect because there's a lot of comparisons to draw.
Yeah. Just a random little commercial. I know we've talked about this outside of the podcast, but have you ever heard that audio that's called aquatic ambiance, and it's got a really nostalgic vibe, and then it comes in with this watery vibe?
I think you showed me it.
I think I showed it to you.
I think you did. I don't think it hit me as hard, but I think there was a little bit of a minor familiarity. I don't think they really hit me as hard as it did you, but I remember hearing it, I was like, yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, I don't know if you were this is probably relevant to people. I'd probably say anywhere from the 1990s to 2005. Maybe, who were born in that area. Yeah. Pretty broad range, but somewhere around there. If you look up if you just look it up, it's called Aquatic Ambiance on TikTok. Holy shit, that audio makes me sick.
Yeah.
I was just remembering the audio just now, and I almost just went.
See, for me, it's those TikToks with the that show here's these common staples of like the older times that you forgot about, and it'll be like those like flat like gym scooters, or like, you know, like the blocks that they would have in school that were like the shapes. Do you remember the shape blocks? The very brightly colored shape blocks, and there was like a yellow octagon, and there was like the rhombus.
Yes, but I also thought of, where does this shape go? In the square hole.
In the square hole.
Where does the triangle go? In the
the square hole. No, but like those ones, or like, what was the... Oh, like the lightsaber spoons from like the Kellogg's days. Does anyone remember the lightsaber spoons? Oh.
Maybe.
That was nostalgia for me. I saw that. I forgot those existed. They were like...
I'm so mad that they don't put toys into cereal anymore.
I know. Well, no, they do. They're just not as good.
As they used to.
They're not as good toys. Like I said, the fact that lightsaber spoon, that was not just like a plastic thing. There was a light in it. Like, that was a well-made little toy. That was like the equivalent of like what a McDonald's toy used to be versus now. What?
Sorry, I had a whole... Remember that we have ADHD.
Yeah. I do remember that. That's the one thing we do remember.
That's the one thing that's very clear. I just thought of something that isn't nostalgic,
there we go.
that lights up in my life. I have a Halloween Horror Nights cup that lights up, and I'm not exactly sure where it is right now.
Boo.
I think it's in my house at home, but...
Losing stuff is not fun.
Anyway.
It's always the important stuff you lose. I know I grew up I had like a bunch of handy-dandy notebooks from Blue's Clues, like the toy ones, and I could not tell you where they went. And I remember one day I was like looking for them. I was like, where did they go? And they just weren't there anymore. They're just gone. They just walked out the door. Anyways, so yeah, not much to say about Patton's room because we already know what Patton's room is. Should we just get Virgil's out of the way too? Just sort of a recap of what Virgil's is. Just since again that's one that we already know of.
I guess so, yeah. Well, I'm trying to think if there's anything else with Patton's room. I think it's really important to point out that, like, Virgil's room... I guess we don't know much about the other rooms, but, like... Or what other people's rooms are, but I know for Virgil specifically, Virgil's had a more direct effect than I think Patton's did.
Yes, Patton's was a more subtle effect.
I don't even know if it was much of an effect. I think that just kind of, like, brightened your mood.
Fair.
Whatever it is, it kind of made it brighter a little bit, and then that was it. Because then they had that really intense discussion there, and they weren't being affected by the room as they were talking about that. But whereas with Virgil's room, yeah, they immediately started to get a little uncanny.
In fairness, it is easier to sort of like exist and move past a happy mood than it is to move past an like anxiety attack. So I think that does line up still. I think it's easier to bypass that one.
I think that's the point. It directs you to those happy thoughts, and you can think around it. But with Virgil, it's directing you towards the fear. Mm-hmm. When you look at all of the anxiety and all of the anxious thoughts, and you're sitting there in that dark corner of your mind. Yeah. So everything starts to like believe, oh, that's the route we have to go. Mm. Whereas with happiness, that doesn't always happen. Whereas fear is like a primal instinct to the point that the body's going to come with you if you think like that consistently. So I almost think Virgil's room is going to have more of an intense impact than any of the other rooms would.
I think that makes sense because, like, I mean, again, a lot of other things are easier to push down. Like, it's easier to suppress and hide happiness than it is to suppress and hide anxiety, because that really takes over your whole soul. Like, it causes paranoia. It's all you can think of. You think it's going like something might hurt you or something might affect your life. Like, it's so easy to let that overtake you. So I mean, you're right. I think Virgil's room might be the strongest effect of them all, at least in terms of how much it tears you down.
Yeah.
Also, I like the vibe of Virgil's room, although I agree with Patton. Less spiders, please. Less spiders.
But that's the creepy.
No, that's great. That's great. Arachnophobic here. No. I can't do it.
I'm terribly afraid of spiders. I would like to trade places with someone.
The Great Spider War. Well, not war. What was it? The Great Spider...
Great Spider of 2017.
Spider what?
The Great Spider Threat of 2017.
Of 2017. Yeah, that is... I agree, Patton. Me and Patton have that in common. We both love Virgil, but we both hate spiders. And that is a hard road to be on.
I love it. Yeah, that episode's really cool. Because I love Virgil's room because, like, also the lighting changes.
Oh,
that's another thing about both rooms that happen.
The lighting, the whole, like, vibe changes, like, the coloring, basically, even. I would go as far as to say that Virgil's room is probably less saturated in color.
Yeah.
And Patton's is probably a bit more.
I think Patton's is too. That could honestly talk about, like, the effect that each side's room has to an extent. Maybe they're breathing in the toxins.
They're just slowly dying every time they walk in.
Oh my god.
Oh no. That's not great. So should we go on to the first side's room that we're going to speculate on?
Sure.
Who do you want to start with?
I guess I'm still thinking about, like, if there's anything else psychologically we want to talk about with either room. I don't think there's a lot.
I don't think there is much. It really just is an influx of the general vibe that each side sort of
exudes.
Exudes, I guess is the word. Just sort of like honestly, that general... Yeah, it is just that general idea.
Yeah, I think that also explains then why Patton's room didn't do as much to people, because Patton is the embodiment of emotion as well as morality. Not just happiness. So yes, like, you immediately feel happy when you walk in the room. Honestly, it might be you feel what Patton feels.
Maybe. I mean, honestly, even
Virgil
if...
did.
Ooh. If it is,
like... Virgil did.
Huh? Did we
Virgil
both have
did.
the same... What?
Virgil had... Well, I'm just thinking, like, what if you feel what Patton's feeling in there?
Oh, I don't know about that specifically. I thought... I was thinking in the realms of just, like, that it just boosts emotion as opposed to specifically nostalgia, because Logan did storm out of there. And that is a very emotional response. So honestly, that might explain that as well. That would explain that effect on them. And again, like, that also explains why it's harder to tell with these characters that they're a boost in emotion, because they're already so emotional. And obviously not in a bad way, like a mean way, but, like, they already are very heightened characters in general in their energies. So it's a little hard to tell even when that energy is heightened past normal, because they're already kind of there.
They were already pretty much there by the time they went in.
I mean, yeah, they were already kind of stressed out.
Especially Roman. Roman was already like, look up the word joke in the dictionary. Like, he was already screaming that
Roman's
shit.
Already there all the time. He's already constantly top there. He's very much. He's very extra.
He's very extra, but I don't think he's always extra. I think he's moments.
He's a little bit
there
a
are
lot.
Moments where
There's
moments where he's not.
There is, but he's also a little a lot constantly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be interesting. So I guess for then the future of how we're determining what the vibe is for them, we need to not look at what they like and try to look a little bit more towards, like, what they are like, for, like, the effects that they might have with their rooms. What?
Roman's room puts them to sleep because they're daydreaming.
What? That didn't even make sense. Puts them to sleep because they're daydreaming? Daydreaming indicates you're alive. I mean, I'm awake.
So sorry.
I had a whole different malfunction right there. Did you say puppies?
Poppies.
Poppy.
Yeah, there it is.
So for those who need to know, I have an interesting relationship with the Wizard of Oz. I'm gonna say this quietly because there's someone in the next room over. So, The Wizard of Oz is a great movie. It's a wonderful movie. I love The Wizard of Oz. I love The Wiz. I love Wicked. I love all the media. Oz the Great and Powerful was a movie, but I did like it when I first saw it. I have a lot of love for this franchise. That being said, I also have a family member who has played that movie so many times. So many times. I'm frankly so sick of it. And every time I look at it, there's such a triggering response I have.
If you've seen Clues.exe, my big project for Tech Reel, there is a reason why I didn't include the Patton swapping, like the letter thing. There's a reason I didn't include the clicking in the heels 3 times that Jessie. There's a reason I didn't include that in the project, even though it's a very funny thing to include. Tech Reel, not a fan. So I use poppies.
I don't hate the franchise. I love it's a great franchise. But especially when it comes to that first movie, every time I hear about it, there's just a little part of me that just goes, because I'm just like thinking about it, and it's like, ugh. That being said, I think I literally follow on TikTok someone who like talks only about that movie. So like, I'm a big old hypocrite. Listen, I'm a big old hypocrite. I'm an arachnophobic that watches Spider-Man. I have a phobia of puppets, but I've watched Kidding and like other like puppet productions. I have trouble with Wizard of Oz, but I watch all the Wizard of Oz productions and such. Like I'm a contradiction. I'm a walking contradiction.
It's beautiful.
I'm an asexual, but I listen to Ninja Sex Party. The list goes on. That one has a bunch of examples.
Okay, that's a good one.
Oh my goodness. Roman. Yeah, so Roman's room, I can't imagine Roman's room being anything other than like a stage. You know what I mean? Like, I just imagine it...
Backstage.
Huh?
Or backstage.
No, not backstage. He needs to be front and center. It needs to be a room that celebrates him.
Yeah, but if he's consistently in an audience that... I'm gonna argue against that only because there's a uniqueness to theater with how rare the experience of being in front of an audience is and how happy that makes you feel. So if he was consistently around a cheering audience, like at his home, if that was just consistently where he lived, I don't think it would be as special when it happens in reality.
That's fair. Well, I don't even mean there has to be an audience there. I just think like backstage is his bedroom, but like front stage is where all his stuff is. I just think he exists typically on a stage. I think if the sides walk into the room, they're walking like down an aisle and look up and he's just there. Like on like a stage set, which looks like a bedroom, but actually isn't. Like there's a real bedroom, but there's like the stage bedroom with like the fake walls. It's a set. And then like there's a rotating part of the stage. There's another area of the room. Like that's just like his room is just stage bits, is what I imagine.
It's beautiful.
But then there's like a real secret room that's just like backstage, and like that's where his actual bed is.
Yeah, they can get, I don't know, interesting to see, but also it I know that the room changes based on where they are. So like if you're talking about a stage as his room,
I forget that their room is not just, I forget that I need to think of their room in a logistic sense of like it's logic. Okay, so we need to think of their room as in it's just like, how would their vibe change the general area?
Roman would just have a spotlight on him.
I was going to say there'd be a lot of spotlights.
One.
Maybe a single spotlight?
A single spotlight on Roman.
Just constantly on him.
Yeah. He'd be trying to do something and he'd just be like, this is a lot of light. Let me just work with
The moment he walks out of his room, he's like, oh, it's so dark in here without my spotlight. It's like, how do any of you see?
That's why he comes up like this, so he can adjust his eyes to the space and then look at people.
He has to look up because it's the brightest point in the room is the light above. He needs to look immediately at it so that he can adjust and like get back to normal.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That's why he's by the lamp.
What?
That might have been the best bit of world building we've ever theorized. Is just the fact that he's next to a lamp because he's constantly under a spotlight and needs more light. Because he's Roman is legally blind.
But funny.
So, other than that, it'd probably just be like, I mean, theater paraphernalia all around. I can't imagine what else it'd be. And like various princely things. The head of the dragon witch just mounted above things.
We have to mention their bedrooms in the plushie episode.
Yeah, they all just have beds.
Oh. Yeah.
Next. No, I'm kidding.
That's true.
I don't remember much about it, so you might have to go into a bit more depth. All I remember is the post-it note that in initials said, "What would Leslie Odom Jr. do?" That was the only thing that I remember currently.
Having a lot of honestly, Roman would have some sort of I think everything, if anything can be related to a stage, it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much, maybe a camera or a red carpet. His carpet would be red, but we'll never see that.
I like to think that aside from the fact that we see the bed in the episode, I like to think that he would have the type of bed that would have the drapes around it, and they'd be red, so that it looks like every time he gets out of bed, he's going out of the red curtains.
Yeah. As princessy as and prince as he can get.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yes.
That's all I can think of for the vibe. What would the effect be? Because I was gonna say that they would all sing, which I would love if that was the case. Because, man, that would be a great setup for a musical episode, that they just walk in Roman's room and they just can't help but sing.
I don't know if it would be as intense as Virgil's room. I don't think it would be something that they would be forced to do. I think it would probably be something related to, boosting their confidence.
Would they all just be really full of themselves? Would they all just be really full of themselves? Really I know what's best.
Confident in their opinion and perspective.
That would actually be really sad though, because them being very full of themselves is very season 1 Sanders Sides. They walk in and they all just character regress. They're all just uncharacter developmented.
Oh god.
That's terrible. Man, no wonder Roman's such a clod. He's constantly going back into his room and getting refueled on ego juice. But
or on the other end of the spectrum, their insecurities rise.
Ooh. I mean, that's very valid, because that's also such a creator thing. To be very insecure and wanting that, needing that. Oh, they all just need validation suddenly. They're all just constantly needing validation. Virgil walks in and he's I feel no different. Because I know that's how I'd feel if I walked into that room. I'd be what, you guys don't feel this all the time? This is my normal.
I think it's just, they're maybe not validation, but they'd be sitting there with a spotlight on their flaws, or a spotlight on what they want to do, and just they want to get I don't know if we can really specify what would happen.
It'd be sad if they walk into the room and they're the most ideal version of themselves that they want to be, so that whenever they're outside of that room they feel that insecurity of oh, I'm not that. How depressing is that? I don't think it's accurate, because Roman needs to be able to have that insecurity all the time instead of ignoring it when he goes in his room, or not having it when he goes in his room. Oh man, I didn't realize Roman's room would be such a source of potential depression.
Do what?
No, I didn't realize, like, analyzing Roman's room would be such a source of, like, depression symptoms, as we've talked about already.
I still stand by the fact that if Roman ducks out, Thomas gets depressed.
I believe it.
Or if Roman starts giving up.
Yeah.
That's depression.
The only other thing that we haven't tapped into is, like, specifically creativity. So, like, is there a way they could all be more creative? Like, how would that function? They all just get, like, artsy?
I was going to say, they all get paint in their hands. Or they...
cut to Logan finger painting with a jar of Crofters.
And it's just like, sorry, I don't know what's happening.
He's like, I don't know why I'm doing this. Sorry, I just had the picture of Logan finger painting with Crofters, but what he's painting is a jar of Crofters. Just the obsession. I need a painting of that, but framed. Of Logan painting Crofters with Crofters. I need that painting frame.
I think, honestly, it's probably like an increase in ego.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a slight increase in ego for everybody. And the longer you're in the room, the more insecure you get.
Oh, interesting. It's like ego boost followed by, like, it's good for the first few minutes you're in it, but then if you lean into it too hard, you start to get insecure. Damn, that's relatable.
That's what I'm going to say it is. Ooh, I think that's it.
I like it.
And I don't think it's anything super, super intense, but I do think it is, that'd be something similar to what it is.
I like that.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Okay, well, moving on then. Damn. It's just painful. Logan's room. What would Logan's room be like? I mean, just books everywhere. There just has to be books. Everywhere Logan walks, he's almost going to trip on a book, except he knows where all the books are. It's organized chaos.
If Logan doesn't have that fucking, like, pin board with all the red strings all over it with,
like a murder board type of thing? Oh.
Murder board? If he doesn't have one of those just for no reason.
I can't express to you how much I've always wanted a murder board. It's just one of those things. I watch a lot of detective content and, like, mystery content. I've always just wanted, like, there's two reasons I want a Polaroid camera. To scrapbook and to make murder boards.
That's gotta be in Logan's room.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be sad if it's not. TBH.
I imagine a lot of whiteboards.
And also, like, all the side spaces on it.
A lot of whiteboards, I imagine. I can imagine there's, like, a chart of, like, the other sides and, like what their deal is lately so that he can be, like prepared to walk into those situations. Like, he has to write down his emotional standings with each one so he knows what to deal with. Because he's so focused on other crap that he has to be like, here's what my current thoughts are on Patton. Here's what I need to avoid, etc. Here's my thing on Virgil. Like, it's all that. He has, like, a chart where he can, like, he has, like, magnetized pictures of, like, their logos that he can just put up on, like, levels. So he knows, like how good he is with them at the current time.
That's my headcanon.
I like it.
I almost could say that that's canon to me because I think that's
and then there's in his bedroom.
Why are you laughing?
It's just such a dumb thought. It's just a life-size statue of the Crofters bear. He just gives it a little hug every time he's about to leave. It's like the one emotion he shows for the day. He's like, I love you, Crofters. Anyways, on to my day.
Is it like one of those like taxidermized bears, but not actually taxidermy?
Yeah.
Like, it's just the
That's
bear.
like the energy, yeah. It's like the energy of that, but it's not an actual bear. One, because he's a side, and two, because gross. But yeah, it's the general energy of that. And it's like holding a jar of Crofters. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I love that so much. That's really got me. Alright, what effect does it have? What effect is not the bear, the room? The bear's effect is joy. But the room, his room, I mean, he's logic. I mean, would they all just, like, mellow out? Would they all just sort of, like really, like, serious down? Like, button down and just be like, okay. Like, really to the point, like, really not messing around. He'd be like, you all are so well-behaved. Let's never... And he'd look at them, he'd be like, let's never leave. How about that? He'd be like, what if we just stayed here? Because you're all a lot more productive when we just stay here.
I wouldn't say productive, because I also think it's another one of those things that could get overwhelming. I think he would overthink if you're in there too long.
Oh. Well, no, I think that's more Virgil's bag to overthink.
Mm-mm. Yeah, because that's like anxiety overthinking with, like, you know, how you interact with people and your feelings about yourself and stuff like that. Whereas in Logan's, I know that when I've listened to Logan too hard, intensely too hard, and I've been trying to, like, solve the problem of my life or whatever, when I really get into that or something, it just hurts how much I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And I just need to stop thinking. So I think if you focus your mind on Logan only, it would get really fast thinking thoughts, and it'd get really intense.
The only reason I don't want to say that is because that was Logan in Virgil's room. And because of that, and because of that reaction he had, I almost want to say that wouldn't happen in his room, because he would have been more privy to that.
I think that was a little more...
Well, also, wait. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just remembered, like, the sides don't really have the effect on their room thrust on them. Because that's how...
I think...
Yeah. Because Virgil didn't get overly anxious in that room. Like, that was everybody else spiraling.
There are... I mean, as I say, with Virgil's room, according to the science and according to Sanders' sides, all their main functions, so all the sides' main functions were driving him to the other end of the curve. So the curve of how much anxiety is in his life. So that anxiety was turned up. If the logic is turned up, that means you're only thinking. You're not thinking about emotion. You're not you're not feeling emotion. You're not feeling anything outside of thought. And if you're overwhelming yourself with thought, that's overthinking.
So I guess they'd either overthink or they'd just go numb with lack of emotion.
I think both.
They'd go, like, robotic almost.
Oh my god.
I was about to say, the moment that came out of my mouth, I was like, Amy's gonna love that.
Ew, why do I like that? I don't understand.
I
like
knew
that
you were gonna love that. I was like, the moment I said that, I was like, Amy's gonna want to live in that room.
The way that everybody listening to this would hear, like, Patton fully becoming, like, robotic as, like, the scariest fucking shit. They'd sit there and be terrifying. Like, ew, that's so good. And I'm over here going, what?
Tom's like, Patton, do you want a cookie? And he's like, no, I'm good. I've already had 2 cookies today. I think I'm fine. And he's just like,
He's just like...
He would, like, try to start Roman onto, like, a Disney song, and he'd be like, when you wish, and Roman's just like, I don't feel like singing right now. I have things to think about.
I don't feel any point in singing.
Huh?
I don't see much logic in singing.
Yeah, he'd be like, I don't understand why you brought that up. The lyrics are upon a star if you're looking for the lyrics, but I'm not here to sing right now. I'm here to solve an issue. Let's get serious.
Patton just wait, what?
I was just finishing Roman, just being like, let's get serious, Thomas. No time to sing.
Oh, very serious, Thomas. Yeah. I'm just sitting there imagining Patton being like, it is a little odd that I'm not willing to have another cookie on top of this, but I feel it's only necessary right now to not. Ew.
It's so gross. Oh my god.
Wow. It's spooky, and I love it.
That is weird. Okay, well, let's move on to Janice. Woo! Janice's room's vibe be like? Why is that so hard to pin down? Because he's just Snake Boy. But, like, he doesn't have to be, like, snake stuff. I mean, it could be snake stuff. But, like, what is...
It's NB stuff for sure.
It's what?
NB. Non-binary.
Oh, NB. I heard NB, and I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, NB stuff.
Fashion and fucking style and
He's
just...
a fashion boy.
Snake energy. I think the lighting would be, like... kind of like how it is when you see him in the normal, like, when the lights are always turned down a little bit when you see Janice. Yeah. Most of the time.
There's a lot of shadows.
I think
around.
That would be everywhere. That would be everywhere. The shadows would be everywhere.
There's some bright spots, but then there's some shadows. Like, there are a lot of shadows to hide in, because that's the Janice-y vibe. I mean, that's the line vibe. You need to be able to hide a little bit. You need places to hide things. That would be Janice's place. There's a lot of things he has, but they're all like hidden. It's like those like those things that you get on like friggin' VAT 19. It's like oh, it's a can, but it's actually a safe. It's like that type of stuff. Like there's a lot of things that he cares about in his room, but you just have to find them. But like they're all hidden within deceptive objects.
Virgil knows where every single one is.
there's like a photo album of like the hamster, the guinea pig, the hamster, Sacagawea. Who was that?
Hamster.
Just there a photo album of that hamster, and just hidden inside of a book, and just like you just need to find the right book and like know the passcode. And it's like oh, just like
inside of the photo album is the hamster.
It's just is the hamster and a tiny oxygen tank.
No, I'm sorry. It's actually under Janice's hat. It's actually Janice.
Clearly, with a tiny oxygen tank. Because she gotta breathe. My issue is not is there being enough space under the hat. It's about the fact that there's not a supplemental amount of oxygen under that hat. So yeah, I really can't think of anything else for the vibe of the room. I mean, the effect seems pretty explanatory. Huh?
Yeah. I was saying, I think the shadows are the most important.
I think so too. The shadows and like the hidden objects.
And there's posters along the walls of like, I think he's probably got a poster of Chicago the musical stuck somewhere on the wall. He sings the all that jazz.
Yeah.
Playlist. Stuff like that. But in terms of how the room affects, I'm trying to figure that one out.
I mean, it feels like the most straightforward. Like, is it too basic to say that people would have more of an inclination to bend the truth?
Or I don't know if it would just be them feeling an inclination to do so. I think they would just... I'm trying to figure that out because Janice is the embodiment of self-preservation and deception. So maybe I'm just trying to figure out...
I wonder if it'd be
like if Roman enhances the ego, and if Roman's enhances the ego, and Patton enhances their emotion, I guess it would enhance their deception.
Yeah, because I mean,
but I just
you don't want to reveal things about yourself. I think it'd be like, at first you'd be fine, and then you'd be like, oh, I keep saying things I don't mean to say. I think it slowly would become a reverse liar. Like, you hit a point where you physically can't get yourself to say the truth, and you just sort of have that, like, inane, like, need to not divulge information about yourself. I think it is, like, mostly about yourself. I think it's, like, it's not specifically just like lying for the sake of lying. I think it's the fact that you can't tell the truth about yourself. Because that's where the self-preservation piece would come in. It's not about like wanting to just fool people. It's about wanting to hide what you're thinking and what you're feeling, what your opinions are. So I think they would slowly just find it that they can't tell the truth about what's on their mind and what they feel honestly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Yeah, that was
But I
pretty
think it wouldn't be so... Yeah, I just don't think... I don't know. I'm sitting here being like it wouldn't necessarily... I don't feel like it would be so much just like lying in general. I think it would just be like manipulation would increase. And like...
manipulation?
I almost said honest. That doesn't make sense.
No.
No. So I think that's it. I'm having trouble understanding exactly how that would look.
I mean, yeah, because I think it would be a subtle thing because, like, it really depends on when they would notice would depend on how much they're talking about themselves and what they're feeling. But the moment one of them is trying to, like, say how they're feeling, like, it actually is really sad. Like, the idea of them just, like, trying to divulge how they're feeling about something and be like, no, I'm fine. And they're like, no, I meant to say I'm fine. I'm totally fine. Don't worry about me. Like that weirdness of just, like, I know that I need to say what I'm feeling, but also I can't not tell people that they shouldn't think about it because there's nothing to think about. It's like, whoa. I think it'd be kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got, really.
Wow.
Weird. Well, Ashley Remus. Trash. Trash everywhere. I think trash.
Condoms.
Oh. I mean, yeah. And, yeah. Oh, yeah. I really don't know how to react to that one. Yeah, no. I think it'd just be chaos. I think it'd just wallpaper peeling, just shit on the couch, figurative and literal. It'd just be dirty and decrepit. And just holes and like punches in the walls, they're just crazy.
Also a lot of booby traps.
Oh yeah, anywhere you step, you're either stepping in something or something is latching onto your leg.
Or like you step on a button and there's something that jumps out and scares you.
Oh my god, jump scare central. And just scrawls on the walls is just like inane like nothings of just like what if you put your hand in a toaster? It's like just scrawled on the walls, just different scenarios so that if you happen to look at it and read it, you're just like, oh god, no. Just like thoughts like that.
I am really sad we're probably never gonna see this.
I hope we do. I wouldn't.
We do.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't put it past Thomas. I feel like he's already started showing rooms. I don't think he can logically end the series before he's shown each of the rooms at least once. Because now he's already started a trend of it. I feel like you need to see that through.
Well, a trend that hasn't been around for a few years.
I mean, you could see...
A large majority of season 2
I was going to say something so mean. I was going to say... You're saying a trend that hasn't, like, been a thing in a few years, and I'm like, well, the same could be said about Sandersides as a series.
I mean, yes.
I mean that in jest, in the lightest way I can. But, like, you know what I mean. No, but, I don't know. It's just the type of thing that they started, and I feel like he's gonna know that the fandom's already so curious about what the other rooms are like, that they're gonna have to delve into them once.
But I'm going to argue, like, that's not the reason you should go into a room just because you haven't seen it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's good if it follows the plot, but I don't know if the only reason you should go in the room is because you haven't seen it. I think if it matches the plot, then that's fine.
Oh, of course. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to write it in just for the sake of writing it in, but also I think that because he's already started it, I think it'd be strange if he didn't follow through. It's very like unfired Chekhov's gun. It's like we've already started talking about rooms and we've already seen 2 of 6. I feel like we need to keep going. I'd be surprised if we didn't keep going.
I'm very interested to see what happens.
Mm-hmm. But what about Remus's room's effects?
Paranoia.
Paranoia? Really?
Paranoia.
I feel like that's too close to anxiety, though.
But that's the thing. Remus is already fairly close to Virgil in what he does. Everybody was talking about and working thoughts where Virgil was.
What do you mean?
Everybody was like, where's Virgil? Where's Virgil? This is something Virgil would need to be there for. But like with Remus being surrounded by that kind of chaos, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know, like, you're very uncomfortable in the space already. I don't think you would start to get like more comfortable with that stuff. I think you'd start to like get like, because Virgil's is enhancing anxiety, and I guess that is more the paranoia route. But like with Remus, I think you'd start to believe the I almost want to say you'd start to believe like darker parts of yourself. You'd start to like get familiar enough with them that you would be so uncomfortable that you'd have to like, you'd only want to leave.
Very possibly. Or the reverse is that you begin to be enticed by those thoughts. I mean, because again, like, the effects of the room that we've seen so far are a thrusting of one side's, like, inner ideals onto the others. And that's where Remus's is in the dark creativity. So if we're going that route, I feel like thrusting that on them would be increasing those thoughts and or making them numb to how gross it is. You know?
Yeah.
Like, they'd start to be like, you know what? Maybe that's not so gross. Maybe that's not so weird. And they'd be like, what the hell am I saying? Like, imagine if, like, the things you once found gross suddenly really aren't, and then you're like, what does that mean about me? How do I process that? Why is that kind of really good what I'm seeing right now or thinking about right now? That's really not okay, but I know it's not okay, but it feels okay right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That makes me want to go back and talk about Logan being like, you're just expressing an unhealthy amount of concern. I want to go back and talk
That's
about that.
That's one of my favorite moments in the series. It's just like a nice, meaningful moment of like, aw, he held back. He caught himself in what he was going to say.
He needed to, though.
Because he didn't want to make Virgil feel bad. That's simple. He didn't want to make Virgil feel... He didn't want to undermine Virgil's emotions in that moment. He wanted to validate what he was feeling.
Are you telling me that's not lore? And that's just a nice thing that Logan did?
Yeah, no, I think it was just a nice thing he did. That was him, because I thought that was just Logan validating Virgil's feelings rather than putting him down for just being scared. It was choosing a different wording to make it so that he didn't make Virgil just feel bad. Yeah.
Bruh, I was over here being like, was his old name Paranoia? Like, oh my god, no. I don't think we ever talked about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I think that was just a sweet moment. Wow. I think that was just Logan deciding to learn and be like, you know what, I shouldn't use that because that's just going to hurt him rather than be productive. Yeah, that's why it's one of my favorite moments.
Logan and Virgil are the best.
Man,
they win.
They're great.
In my head.
Whew. Well, we got through the sides. We have some more we can talk about, but first, we have a moment. A Mind Palace moment.
Hi, it's Patton. Right here. So what do you call a funny mountain? Hilarious.
And that was a moment. You're very close to the camera, and I know not everyone's going to be able to see that, but yikes. I'm scared.
Hi.
I need an adult. Anyways,
I need an adult.
I am an adult, but I need an adult.
I would be very afraid if a child came up to me and was just like, I need an adult.
I'd be like, you know what? That's above my pay grade. I'd be like, I don't know what you're in. I don't know what crap you've gotten yourself into, child, but I am not the responsible adult you need. I can
I'll be
I
like,
can help
I'm
you
not-
locate the nearest actually responsible adult. I'm
I'm
lying.
not
I
an
would help the child, but I wouldn't be happy about it. Not because it's a child, but because I'm just not. I'm a scared person. Anyways, hello, we're back, and
Good.
so we've talked about the rooms of the sides, but we have some more sides rooms we could talk about because we recently in a Q&A discussed what our sides would be. So it might be interesting to ponder what the rooms of our sides might be like and what effects they might have, if any different than what we've discussed already.
Oh shit.
Oh my gosh. So I guess we just go down. We should also say we have not prepared anything for this part. We're just flying by the seat of our pants. We're just going in and seeing what happens.
Like a magic carpet ride, flying
Oh my
seat of
god,
the
a whole new world.
Wow.
Oh my god. A topic we didn't prepare for. Which is everything.
We're going to entertain you by talking about our sides rooms.
Yeah, we're going to entertain you by talking about ourselves and only ourselves.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes. But should we start with our various logics?
Sure.
Would you like to go first?
Should I go first?
Yeah, I was gonna say you should go first.
I genuinely think mine is just Murray's room in Stranger Things. Because I said that Murray's my logic and reasoning from the character from Stranger Things. So like the way that his space is set up, there's a lot of stuff everywhere. There's just a lot of chaotic shit. He knows where everything is, if that makes sense. Like, he knows. So knowing where all that shit is, even though it's kind of a mess on the floor, and also like there is a murder board on the wall of everything, but like mainly the murder board is like how to be a good person. Like mix Chidi and a Kanye from The Good Place and Murray, and you get my logic. And so his murder board is very much like how to be a good person. And the stomach ache is right in the center. No, I'm just kidding.
Right on the dot of the eye of
Good
Jeremy Barry.
Jeremy Barry. But right in the dot. No, that's exactly right. They're still trying to figure that out to this day. I think Chidi and Murray are in the same room. I think there's also two people in there shouting at each other, trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. Maybe it is both of them. I have two logics, and they're no different from one another. It's just two people shouting at each other because that's how loud my brain is. So
that sounds about right.
Or at least because ADHD make your brain go fast, and if
really
you're not used to that shit, don't come in my brain.
That's about right.
I would recommend it.
As for mine, I remember I said mine was my logic is very Dwight. So, jeez, I also see a lot of murder boards, but I also see like just stacks of paper of like printed out notes about like how to win certain arguments. like I just imagine like he's just constantly jotting down like just whiteboards, just jotting down like his various points, just planning for different debates he might get into. Just like he has to have a constant database of like, okay, here's what I'm gonna say, and he's just like here, stack them up, just staple them together. If someone asks me about that subject, I'm friggin' ready. And he has that just like he has shelves of it. That's what I imagine the general vibe. There's a lot of notes on just like the various debates he might get into, and a lot of just like
That's great.
I mean that's really all I can say for him. Like my logic is very defensive, so he needs to be ready for anything he might need to talk about.
I think it also works out that like my logic is a little disorganized, whereas yours seems a bit more organized.
Well, no. I mean, I'm thinking of there's papers everywhere. Like, it's like, you know, like in like movies and TV shows where it's like, you go into the person who died, or like there's like a person he was on to conspiracies, and you walk into this one room and it's just like there's pages everywhere and there's newspaper clippings and there's just like constantly everywhere. It's more that vibe, I think. It's just like he lives in organized chaos. He knows where it all is, but if you looked at it with the naked eye, you'd be like, I see no wall, only paper. It's just like, there's just constantly, on any topic he might need to know about, there's just notes and notes and notes that he can always divulge if he ever needs to. He always has papers in hand, ready to talk about whatever I am currently hyperfixated on.
So then, I love that yours is paper, and mine is just random bullshit.
Yeah.
That I have opinions on.
Mine is just paper and pictures and newspaper clippings.
Love that, love that. That's hilarious. All right.
Who next?
I don't know.
Cool. Thanks for the help.
Wow, you're welcome. Yes, and. Yeah. I'm doing great at this.
How about morality?
So my morality, remember, is split in two.
Is what?
So
right.
One of them, 4-year-old kid, who is genderqueer, and it's just, I mean, I think it's just, like, imagine a Patton-themed bedroom, and you get this kid's room.
Yeah. I see it.
And then a lot of, like, very silly humor, so, like, Megamind is on the wall. And, like, a lot of, like, just good wholesome shit. For that room. That's just good vibes. That makes you feel good walking in. I guess we didn't talk about the effect of the room.
I forgot
but I mean,
about
I know
that entirely.
For our logics, honestly, it really would just be like you overthink with them. You start to get into it, and you're like,
I think my logics, the thing that my logics one would exude is that you would slowly start to lose control of your faculties that like prevent you from like talking about whatever you hyperfixate on.
Yep.
It's just like you get into that room and you're just like ready to start talking about whatever you have on your mind, and you're just like, I need to delve into it, and I sort of need to debate about it.
You see someone over there just going,
the Amazing Digital Circus is really good. I think it's really interesting what they might do with Pomni's backstory. And just like, what? He's just like, sorry, I didn't mean to talk about all that. Whoa. It's like, there's like a TED Talk level like rant, and then you're like, sorry, I don't know what
someone just screams Blue's Clues as loud as that. Blue's Clues!
Me. Every time that I go into that room and bring it aside into the room, like, Blue's Clues! And just like I have to cover my mouth, and just like the whole time I'm there, because I'm always ready. Doctor Who and Blue's Clues. Those like some of the like Insander sides, just things I'm always ready to talk at length about.
Wait, pause and go back for a commercial break. Would Janice's room make the sides easier to manipulate for Janice?
Would they? How
Just
so?
like the way that like Janice can cover their mouths or like stop them from saying things or anything like that. Would Janice have higher control of that in his room?
I don't know what higher control would look like, because he already seems to have really good control.
But like,
I wonder if that control would manifest in the other sides. If they suddenly have the ability to shut other people up, but that might be a different vibe. But that's the thing. I don't know if that like what more control would look like in that way, unless he's just like straight up like Beetlejuice possessing them and just like throwing his voice into their mouth to say things. I don't know what that.
That's interesting.
Oh, just an interesting line popped into my head of just the idea of like, well, you can't say your truths anymore, so I can throw mine in. Just like it's like subtracting your words. Now there's room for mine. That's interesting.
Fuck. That's what but that's what I mean. Like they're easier to manipulate.
Maybe that's an interesting thought. Here's the thing, though.
Anyway,
I still see Janice as a good boy, and I don't like the idea that he would do that. So, but I mean, if he's doing it for a good reason, I guess maybe I don't know. I have issues regarding dealing with Janice being a bad boy.
And I'm over here just really enjoying the idea of a character controlling another character.
Yeah,
So
I'm here constantly looking at like the most diabolical evil characters and being like, they're probably fine. They're probably nice inside. They're probably gonna be okay. Like you've seen me do that with watching Netflix's You. For those who watched Has Been Hotel, I'm constantly looking at Alistair and I'm like, he's a good boy. I wouldn't worry about him. You'll see.
No,
but
I'm over here for them to break shit and do the fucking kill, crush characters, break them, put them in the ground, do it.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I don't have.
So yeah. So whoa. So back on morality then. So you said your morality's room.
That was my compassion.
Oh, that was your compassion. Okay,
but,
what is the other? Oh yeah, because we don't have like there's some slight differences in what we have.
Yeah, why don't you go into yours and then I'll go into my morality because my morality is kind of my anxiety, and then you can talk about your anxiety.
Yes. Okay. So my morality he's the flowchart boy. Here's the thing. I'm already having an issue because I feel like I'm about to assign very similar rooms to very different sides because he's the flowchart boy. My morality is a flowchart boy, constantly worried about how actions affect other things. So it's hard for me to not say that his room is covered in notes as well. But like, I like to think his wall is just like floor to ceiling like flowcharts of just like different situations that might be happening and like different things that might need to happen. Again, it's a reminiscent of what I just said for my Logic's room, but I think that's also just very reminiscent of me as a person. I'm very just scatterbrain notes, and I think that's just sort of the energy. So, like, I think there's just a lot of scrawlings on the wall of, like, different things that might need to be attended to and how they might affect things and how they, like, will affect the next day of our lives. So, I mean, that's the idea in my brain. As for the effect, what would the effect be from... I mean, I guess just paranoia. I mean, like... Again, I know I have my, like, anxiety, depression side, but, like, this is the room that I think would have a lot of paranoia associated, because that's where, like, my morality currently is that sort of, like, paranoia mindset of, like, we need to get this right or else things are going to get screwed. So, like, yeah. I don't know. That's what I got for that. What about your compassions effect, room effect?
I was listening to you so hard that I did not think about mine at all.
I mean, honored. I'm honored of that.
And that's how it should be.
Wow.
Anyway, I mean, psychology fact of the day. If you notice yourself thinking about what you're going to say when you're listening to other people, you're not actually listening to other people. I was going to say. Which is okay if you do that. But it is also very good to not do that because if you listen to other people and you pay attention to what they're saying, then conversations will become more insert nice word here. Understand, compassionate. I don't know. Anyway,
I just think that's like the
don't
perfect.
mind.
I think it's just the perfect sentiment of ADHD. You're either focusing so hard on the other person's sentences that you didn't think of what you might say next, or you're so focused on what you're going to say next that you didn't even hear what the other person said. It's like, it's just those two, and like sometimes you listen like a normal person, but like a lot of times there's like a lot of like, it's one or the other, and then you just sort of like snap in and be like, oh geez, I either didn't hear them or I didn't think of what I'm saying next. Now I'm confused.
And yeah, I mean, there are definitely exceptions to that rule. But if you notice, like, when someone's telling a story and you're thinking of your story instead of listening to them, that can be something you could be like, wait, I'm missing stuff. I'm going to listen to what they say. But then sometimes my ADHD goes off and I'm like, bro, I'm listening. Hello, can I pay attention to what they're saying? Bitch. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you have to tell me.
And sometimes it's like, I'm so focused on the fact that I need to listen that I'm thinking more about listening than I am listening. While also then looking at something else and being like, I can listen and also look at this thing real quick. And then 2 minutes later, I'm like looking at other stuff and I'm like, oh geez, wait, I forgot to listen.
So never mind. My knowledge is moot.
No. You don't have anything for your compassion room? Oh geez, I knocked my camera.
But I think my anxiety is kind of like Virgil's, because I think my anxiety is very close to Virgil, as I've said. So, like, if you're in there too long, I don't think you could simulate a panic attack per se, but I think you can definitely get to a point where you are, I'm judging your actions and moves very harshly. Mm-hmm. Because, like, so in terms of the room, it is the darker space, I'd say. I think there are times where it feels like the lights, I honestly would probably argue that it's similar to the wax museum mindset that I talked about once when I was talking about my brain as physical space. Yeah. Like, the lights don't always work. So when the lights are on, I think I'm doing all right at being a person. And then when the lights are off, I don't. So the lights don't really work. And I'd probably say there's a lot of, like, I'd probably you know what? I think it'd probably be a mix of Patton and Virgil's room. Mm-hmm. A lot of nostalgia there, a lot of, like, darker things there, but also, like, there's the heart, but there's also, like, anxiety.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But I really don't think, I keep wanting to do like you did in a way and like have flowcharts and have some kind of explanation, but I think that's genuinely what the logic is doing already. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm going to say that my room is basically mixing Patton and Virgil's room for anxiety.
It's a good vibe. Yeah. I think I might have gone into the room of my sort of pessimism character last time. Or I know I got into the vibe I'm about to talk about, but my pessimism, my anxiety, depression mixture, is very into comfort and snacks. And I think his room would be, like, deceptively warm and welcoming. Like, there's, like, blankets everywhere, and there's, like comfy things to sit on, and there's, like there's music to be played, and there's, like, lots of things you could watch. Like, there's a lot of, like, distractions and comfort, and you're, like, snacks, and you're like, whoa, I could live in this room. And, like, you're just like, this is a really good place to be. But, like, just sort of, like, it's because, like, I feel like with anxiety and depression, like, especially for someone who's been in this room for, like, the better part of 2 decades, like, I'm very much someone who needs a safe space, like the one, like, area that's, like, this is my area. And, like, this is, I feel this every time I'm, like, at anyone else's house or, like, anywhere else. I'm just, like, I need, like, one area that I'm, like, this is my area. This is where I know that I can be. And, like, this is, like everything else is out there. Scary. Here's my place. So, with that in mind, moving on to the effect of the room, like, unlike Virgil's, I don't think it would promote, like, I don't think it would as much give anxiety or, like, freak you out. I think it would sort of, like, how do I explain? I think it would, like, really suck you into the room. I think you'd be like, oh, it's like, you'd be enticed into the comfort, and then in that same way that it's, like, you find in, like, depression or anxiety, you have that, like paralysis, that you don't want to get up and do anything and face the world. I think you'd be like that. You'd have the overwhelming, like, urge to, like, stay there and sort of, like, hide away from the world, like, get under a blanket, hide yourself in a hoodie. And it's just, it's not even, like, as much about scaring you and, like, freaking, like, getting up your, like, anxiety. It's more just, like, blocking out the world. I think that's the effect it has. It's just sort of, like, it's weird. It's like, it's because it's a comforting space, and it's not like enticing you in a bad way, but it's enticing you in a way that's like halting your progress moving forward, and it's just sort of keeping you in a comfort space.
That honestly sounds like what my compassion's room would do, like the 4-year-old kid, the one that like feels very good. I think that's kind of where the easiest way that I fall into the trap of like executive dysfunction when I am like at least trying to procrastinate and trying to like try to get away from the overwhelm of school and stuff. So getting into that space of like playing games or relaxing into the bed or whatever and just blocking it out, I get stuck there. So I think that honestly lines up. That's really cool. I hadn't thought of it that way.
I think,
yeah.
What does it say about me that when it comes to both my, like, just talking about like my sides and talking about my sides as rooms, that so far the most fleshed out of all of them is the anxiety depression? Like, what does it say about me that that is the one that I have very concretely the idea of?
I mean, if you're a fan of Sanders sides, there's usually a very high likelihood that you've got some sort of mental health dilemma that you deal with.
Like me.
So, you like me?
I'm sad a lot. No, no, but yeah, I really like that though. Who haven't we done yet? Creativity. Again, it's really hard to not just say that there's notes everywhere. But his notes are both less organized and more organized. They're organized by area. Like, in any given part of his room, there's like segmented areas where there are certain notes and certain like objects that inspire creativity in those different areas, like, you know, like music or digital art, or, you know, like ideas for the future, like movies and shows I want to make, like stuff like that, or like other products. I think it's just that it's organized chaos. It's like there's notes everywhere and they're overflowing, but there is some semblance of like, here's where those ones go, here's where those ones go. Because it's all color coded, but there's so many colors that there's being used because there's so many different genres of ideas. And I think anywhere you stand in that room, there are readily available writing utensils and like pieces of paper that you can immediately be like, because I know me, like I have like notes upon notes about ideas, and like that's what this character is. Everywhere you stand, there always needs to be something that you can like grab to jot an idea down with. So yeah, that's the life of a creator. That's the what?
You just always gotta jot down. That's the life of a creator. You always gotta jot stuff down.
It's because it's a constant like influx of ideas. What about your creativity?
Yeah. I kind of talked about mine last time. The fact that she's in an art shop, and it's just paint everywhere. But paint is like, doesn't represent actual paint. It represents like ideas and stuff. And it's also kind of a chaotic mess, but at the same time, like she knows where things are. Well,
yeah.
I'm going to argue that she doesn't, but the room kind of morphs and changes around her. So the ideas will like morph and change as they go. So maybe like if she finds a certain a lead somewhere, like if she like found a book that inspired something and she pushed the book away, there's something behind it that like matches that. Like if you dig deeper into the room, you can find more inspiration. And sometimes it'll come and smack her in the face. Like it's almost Harry Potter-esque. Like she just gets smacked sometimes and you're like, oh, bruh. Hey, that's actually really funny. But like that's how it works. Because like I for those that don't know, to talk about that right now, I am writing a play at college this semester, and so I honestly want to I'll talk about that more at some point on my own platforms and whatever, but right now I'm just going to keep writing. And with that, sometimes like I sit there and I really want to find that inspiration, but I can't find anything. So like the other night, I had really been stuck on the ending of this play that I've been writing. I've been like, I don't know exactly how to end it. So I had a certain idea come in my head. And then this was at like maybe 12:30 a.m., mind you. Like as I'm trying to go to sleep, I kept getting smacked with ideas over and over and over. And I had to write every single one of them down and then like maladaptive daydream them out so I could kind of visualize them. And then I was like, well, what the fuck? Wait.
I've been there so many times.
Write that down, go to bed. And then I tried to write that down, go to bed, and then another one came in my head. I'm like, fuck. So imagine this fucking girl in an art shop with paint all over her face getting smacked by a book or something and going, shit, fuck, that's another one. Where did that come from? What? And being like, I have to sleep. Shut up. Like, you know.
If I had a nickel for every time that I've been laying in bed trying to go to sleep, I had an idea, and I had to debate internally about, am I gonna get up and write this down, or like, because it wouldn't take long, but I know it's also gonna mess me up and like make me not sleep for longer. Am I gonna get up and write this down, or am I gonna try to believe that I might remember it? And sometimes I take the risk and I do remember it and I jot it down in the morning, but sometimes I'm just like, I'm not gonna remember this. Damn it. And I get up and I'm like, type. And then I'm like, damn it, now I need to go to the bathroom again. And I sit and I do that and I get back down and I'm like, crap, wait, there's a little bit more I need to, damn it. And I grab the phone again and I'm like, type. The whole thing.
I know I'm never going to remember that shit. So when it hits me, you have to go. Yeah. You have to write it down because I don't have the memory.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I guess... So the family Madrigal's house is her room. It's just an art shop.
Like there's things moving everywhere.
Yeah, and then like sometimes it's just not doing anything, and then sometimes it's like and you're like, what the fuck? Or like you look up at the ceiling and go, why didn't I see that, bitch? What the fuck? That actually works really well. Fucking bitch, what the fuck? Ow! You know, like anyway. That's
so what about the effect? The effect of the room.
The what?
The effect of the room.
I've been talking about
the thing we've been talking about for the past like 30 minutes.
Because
I have two different ones in mind, I think.
I think you're thrust into story. Like you are immediately just enthralled with whatever idea hits you, like almost maybe like, okay, so the creativity itself is the orchestrator of this art, but if you're in there, if any other side is in there, they're encompassed in the story and they have to either act it out or they're like thrown into a different world. Ooh, and they have to get out.
Interesting.
Or something. Like you have to do something about it to get out.
Interesting.
Because like that explains why for example, I had to maladaptively daydream those ideas so that I could kind of visualize them for later and just have them. So yeah, that's probably what would happen. Like if there's a princess story and my anxiety walks in and then it gets smacked by this idea, instead of being able to catch it and write it down, that he like has a princess dress on now and he's like, fuck.
He's getting caught in the creativity's various ideas. Okay. Yeah. I think mine, I have two different potential ones. One is that you, like, the sides there would become so unfocused and, like, they become increasingly less focused and only focused on, like, various ideas that they have for other things. Well, basically ADHD. They'd have ADHD. They basically, like, slowly get really unfocused and, like, they can focus on nothing but, like, the one creative idea that they're thinking. Like very much like how you get very, like, thrown off by, like, you're thinking of an idea and you know you have somebody doing something else, but you can't think of anything else. So that, or basically maladaptive daydreaming in the sense that, like, you start to notice that as you stay in there, the thoughts that you have, if you picture anything, it's there before you, like, physically. Like, it's like it's almost like manifesting maladaptive daydreaming. So, like, it would, like, you'd see it there all of a sudden, and you'd be like, oh gosh. And, like, you, like, imagine a thing, and it's like, oh, there it is. Like, and now I can't stop thinking about it because there it is. And I think you just sort of, like, get trapped in that mindset of, like, now you're thinking about that, and now you're thinking about what it might be doing, and you sort of get drawn into it, because if a character appears that you're thinking about, then all you're thinking about is that character, and then you're thinking about what that character's going to say next, but that character's only saying things next because you're thinking of it saying something next, so you get sort of caught in a loop. So it's almost like you get caught in, like, real-life maladaptive daydreaming. And you're like, I know I need to be doing something else, but now I can physically see it, and that's throwing me off, and I can't stop thinking about it.
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, like you have to acknowledge what's in front of you.
You gotta play it out,
to move past.
Interesting.
Whereas with, like, the creativity itself, they can just, like, orchestrate it and do what they want to do, but they're gonna also indulge in it because that's what they do. That's crazy.
I forget. Do you have dark creativity? I don't think you had. Okay, so I have dark creativity, so I'll go over mine quick.
Oh, they're boxes that I've started to uncover. Right, yes. So they're boxes within the room that I've started to uncover.
That's right. Because I have a dark creativity character.
Yeah.
I don't have much on who he is. I just remember I was like, he is Aaron from Game Grumps. He is constantly throwing notes at the other guy. I almost want to say it's just like a chill room. Because I'm thinking of Game Grumps, all I can think of is just like a couch and a TV. Like, I can't think of much else like specific for the room, but I like to think that in the room there are like a couple of different windows might not be the term, but like there's different like compartments that, like, if you put something in it, like, it leads to one of the other rooms, but like mainly like the creativity is. So he just makes these little paper airplanes and throws them through like a little like cubby hole that leads to one of their rooms.
Yeah.
And people just go in and just be like, that's where those fucking planes are coming from. Every time I open, I don't know why I keep opening them. It's just that type of crap.
Like the howlers from Harry Potter. They just start screaming at you.
I kind of love that, actually. It might just be the howlers from Harry Potter. He just throws the airplane in. Ronald Weasley!
That's how every one of them starts. No matter who you're talking to.
They all start with Ronald Weasley just because of the one joke, the one reference where it comes from.
That's great.
That's really funny.
That is the definition of an howler.
Or just for kicks, it only does that for Logic's room because he knows that that's gonna piss him off.
Yeah.
As for the effect, I mean, I think Remus's is kind of the one. I think if anything, a slight turn of just like, not only is it just that they're more enticed by like the sort of like gross ideas, but they kind of find it funnier. Like they sort of can't help but laugh at his jokes. It's almost like a captive audience. Like he gets a kick out of his gross ideas, and he's just sort of like a silly troll about it. And I think like it's just that like he's so jokey about it that like when you're in that room for too long, you find yourself laughing at jokes that you don't want to be laughing at. Oh, that's a weird thought. That's a little. I think that's also good for spooky. I think so too. That's fair. I think it can also go for me. Well, no, I wouldn't say that for Remus's room because Remus isn't trying to be funny. He's trying. He seems to be trying to gross them out. Whereas I think my sort of dark creativity is more like jokester that doesn't realize that what he's saying isn't actually as funny as he thinks. I think that's the difference between my dark creativity and Remus. Is that Remus knows he's kind of messing with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the effect there. Fair. I think we're just both down to deceit now. I'll go first because I know I'm a bit more in touch with my deceit than yours. Let's see. Well, I know my deceit is Jim Halpert energy. I know that that's the vibe there. I'm almost tempted to give him, in the same way that my logic and morality have very similar rooms because they're sort of connected in that way. I almost want to give him the same sort of like cubbyhole to the other rooms, just like other facts, but I don't think that works. I think, goodness, how does that work? Because he likes throwing around fake facts. He's also self-preservation, but he likes throwing around fake facts. How does that manifest into a room, though? I mean, I almost want to say there's a sort of note vibe there, too. He's constantly jotting ideas down of things that might be funny fake facts. I don't really know of a room, though, specifically to go along with his vibe right now. I mean, I'm just tempted to say he's in the office. He's just in the office faxing lies to people.
You just walk into your brain and you start hearing the Office theme song.
Every time you walk into my Deceit's room, you hear the Office theme song. and just in faintly in the distance, you hear, Michael! You just hear Dwight yelling for Michael. Which is funny because Dwight is my logic. But, oh, interesting thought. They both are in the same office, but they're in different, like, areas of the office. My logic and my deceit. Oh, because they're both, like...
It lines up.
It lines
because
up.
Logan and Janice tend to have very similar thought trains most of the time.
I like that. They're both in the office. I think my deceit's more organized, though. He still has a lot of notes of, like, different lies he wants to make, but he's more organized about them. He doesn't have, like, papers lining the walls of his area. He has more of an organized vibe, mainly because he wants to make sure that he keeps things under wraps until he can say them. Because lie's not fun if it gets spoiled first. So, yeah, I think that's my vibe for him. There's a lot of notes, and it's in the office, but he's organized more so than my logic. What about yours?
I think mine probably has. So here's what I came up with,
Okay.
and we'll see if I like it when it comes out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Because
that's me with every sentence I've ever said.
Yeah. I said that mine was like an actor that's known to mask, and they're trying to like accept themselves. But I don't know how much I agree with that anymore. Either way, I think my self-preservation is on. Yeah, the more I think about it, I don't really want to agree with what I said. Because I was going to say that my self-preservation is kind of living out of a broom closet right now and is not fully in a room yet because, like, it's still working on being accepted at all.
That lines up, though, because you literally... I mean, you are not one for consistent deceit. You're not one who really, like, accepts their deceit. So I that makes sense that you would shove him into just, like, a minor non-room room. That kind of lines up.
But I also think that right now he's really trying to work with my logic, my Murray, and trying to figure out how to be better about self-preservation. And I think there are parts of me that are trying to find him a room. But I think there are also parts of me that don't want him.
Fair. You know what? Going back to The Office for a second, it's like... I know you don't watch The Office much. You don't know much about it, but there's a...
Well, I watched, like, the first season, so I know enough about it.
Well, this is the later season I'm referencing about, too. But there's a point where, Ryan in the series... You remember Ryan?
No.
He was the temp.
I don't. No,
oh, man. Okay. In later seasons, he's just a clod, but he still ends up working there. And Jim sort of, at a certain point in the series, is in a position of, like, more responsibilities. So Ryan keeps screwing about, and he just sort of, like, makes an office for him, because he's, like, what was it? Ryan was, like, undermining him to everybody else. So he makes a little office for him inside of a closet, and it's just like, you work in there now. Goodbye. And he just puts him in there. So I think that might be the vibe there. It's like he's in a closet, but he still has connection. Like he still can talk to people through like a computer or a phone, but it is still in a closet. Like he's not allowed more space right now, but he still can talk to the others.
I think he's getting there. If he's not moving into a new space right now, he's in the closet able to talk to people.
Yeah.
Because I think he's trying to get out. And I'm getting better about it for myself, in other words, but like I do think I don't think he has his own space.
No, fair. That makes sense.
The anxiety tends to be the more but yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, as for the effect, I really can't think of an effect. Like, unlike the other ones, I feel like I had some specific other ideas, but like I feel like the effect here is going to be very similar, if not the exact same, to Janice's. Just sort of like that, more of an inclination to lie about things. I don't think it'd be as personal as it is with Janice with the self-preservation. I think it would be a bit more of just like, because with me, my lies, a lot of it are just like goofs, like momentary goofs. So I think it would just be like, you would just have a big tendency to make up random facts just real quick. Just like completely...
ChatGPT!
He's chat. Just become ChatGPT. Just like, you just start spouting inconsequential fake facts that really don't affect anyone, and they don't even like mislead you into anything that's important. Because that's what all my goofy things are. It's just like, oh, there was a guy just in the past. There was a bear in an Arby's. You know, it's just crap like that. Like just like little things like that don't affect you in any way, but like it also like it's a lie, but it doesn't matter if you believe it's a lie because it doesn't affect your life. You just be compelled to say those, and then you couldn't tell people that you were lying until after the room. You'd be like, no, there was no bear in that Arby's. I don't know why I said that. Like, just stupid
there
stuff.
Was what?
That was a real lie that I told one time for no reason. I think I might have, I don't know, I almost feel like I said this on this podcast before, or to you. But to some friends one time, just out of the blue during a call, we were talking about something, I just sort of said like, yeah, it's like that bear that got into that Arby's. He like the back door was open, got in, he was able to eat a whole sandwich before he left. And my friends were just sort of like, yeah, my friends, no, this wasn't to you though. This was other people.
I was there. No, I was there.
You really weren't. This wasn't you.
I could swear
I promise it wasn't you. I'm pretty sure. This was two other friends.
You did it again later or something.
I told you
You did it again later.
I told you about it, but I don't think I ever told it to you in a way to try to get you. I think I told you about it though.
Okay, but I was there when you were talking to other people about it.
No, I don't think you were.
I'll fight you. Anyway.
This was a different like group that I was in. But anyway,
this isn't something to argue about in the podcast. So go.
Is there any is there any difference to the effect in yours, or is it just Janice?
I don't think they have the power to have an effect yet.
Ooh, why is that so fascinating in and of itself? I like that. I mean, that makes sense. Because it's a broom closet. It can't fit in there.
Yeah. I don't think there is potential for that yet because it's trying to garner that power right now and trying to garner a place in the palace.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not working out as well as they wish. So
it's an interesting little vibe.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
But it's not there yet.
Man. Well then, that's all our sides. And now that we've talked about all the sides' rooms between Sander's sides and our own, I think we're done for this episode. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god!
Which means next episode, next week, is our last one for the next while. Except for the fan Q&A, of course. But like the last like legitimate episode for a little bit. That's what I'm saying.
We'll see you next week.
We'll see you guys next week, guys. Oh my god, we love you.
And then February 10th.
Yeah, February 10th.
Come find us at noon.
February 10th.
And we'll be partying and
February 10th, noon EST, aka 12 EST, on YouTube, on the Side-ology channel. So if you're here, or if you're in Side-ology, you can, I mean, if you're Side-ology. If you're on Spotify, you can go over to the YouTube channel, and we'll be there on February 10th for a nice big fan Q&A live stream.
We'll party before we disappear a little bit.
Yeah, for the next foreseeable while.
Well.
Oh. Well, for now, though, goodbye, peeps. Goodbye. Oh my god,
buddy.
the camera decides to glitch at the worst time. No. There we go, you're back. Oh my god, it's a episode before next to last episode miracle. Whee. Anyways, bye.
Bye.